Testing, testing. Hopefully everything looks okay. Pull the stream up my phone so I can see everything. Testing, testing. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Give me 1 second. Let me restart this out. Oh yeah, it works. Sounds like my voice is really quiet compared to everything. Let me change that. Go to filters and crank up the gain. Hopefully that's a little bit louder. Okay, let's try and finish this beat. This is actually a beat that I made entirely from my voice. Like every single sound in this came from my voice originally. So let's try and finish it. Adjust in my seat. Hang on. Okay. Got my coffee. Got everything set up. Alright, let's try and finish this beat. So I think it's mostly done, like, individual, like, sound-wise. I really wanted to add, like, some kind of an 808. But the problem is, I had a really hard time making an 808 sound good with my voice. Like, the kick, I can just make, like, a noise with my mouth, and then, you know, EQ stuff out and pitch it down, and it, you know, I made a kick that way. I made, like the rim clap sound. It's two sounds. It's like a k sound I made with my mouth, and then like a sh sound, and then I just put them together. As you can see here, I've got these two sounds. So this one is, it didn't have a label, but I made that with my, I think I made like a k sound with my mouth and then processed it. And then this one I'd made like a breath sound and then did the same thing and processed it, put an EQ on it and everything. And then the kick I also made from my voice. Like I said, I just made like a noise with my mouth and then did a bunch of processing to it. So same thing with the melodies. All the melodies I literally just recorded in like one line of my voice, put a bunch of effects and auto-tune on it, and then put it in the sampler and just kind of played it like a choir. But yeah, that's how the majority of this was made. All of it, actually. So I don't think I'm going to be recording anything else for this. If I change my mind, I'll come back. But for now, let's reset this. We know how everything sounds, by the way. Okay, so let's start processing all the sounds. I forgot I named these that. That's funny. Anyway, you didn't see that. Okay, so I've got my kick processed. This, I think, is more of a... We can put that with the, like, snares and claps and stuff. And make, like, the sound I made for the hi-hat and the x noise. These will be my hats, so let's process these together as our like snares, claps, rims, and that sort of thing. Okay, let's separate that, and then let's do the same thing with the like hi-hat sounds, or sounds that we're using for the hi-hats and crashes and that sort of thing. I could probably like boost some of this. Maybe not this much, obviously. Maybe just a little bit of a boost there. So now we've got our kicks, our snares, rims, and claps, and then our hats together. Now what we can do is put them together. I do want to try and compress this kick a little bit more though. Okay, so let's take all of our drum sounds and combine them together. We've got our kick, our claps and snares, and our hats. Let's put all those on one bus and call it the drum bus. And then I think what I'm going to do next is use parallel compression to make the drums hit a little bit harder. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to take my drum, like bus, and send it to one thing. Actually, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'm sending it to two things. And the second thing in this, three-part chain, I'm going to also send to the third one. Okay, and then I'm going to over compress this signal. So over compression, and then this one will be my send. So basically what's happening is I'm sending my drums to two different places, and on one of them I'm over compressing the signal and then joining it back with the original signal. But I'm only joining it back by 30%, so let me mix this back. So only 30% of this over compressed signal is getting through. And also I'm like cutting the highs out when I'm over compressing because I don't want to change. Like typically the hi-hats are already as loud as I want them to be, so I'm cutting that out a little bit. But yeah, you should be able to tell that it's a little bit beefier after that. So like I can mute this. And then if I just mix in that 30% of that over compressed signal, all of a sudden everything is just a little bit more present, a little bit louder. A little bit beefier. Okay, now I'm going to take all of my melody pieces and I'm going to put all these on one thing. a little bit. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is sidechain my kick to like a bunch of different things. It's not always necessary to sidechain your kick, but it can definitely help. So let's take our kick, and I'm going to sidechain it to a bunch of different stuff. So my melodies, my claps and snares, and my hats. So in each one of these, I'm sidechaining my kick to these individual instruments. And on each one, I'm sidechaining it in different amounts. So like on the hats, I don't want to sidechain it all the way. Like my ratio isn't all the way up as high as it can go, because I don't want it to duck out all the volume. Like I don't want that, because then it's like noticeable that the hat isn't there to me. So I like to be a little bit more subtle with it, with the hats especially. So it's just really cutting out that, you know, that volume at the very beginning and not too much more. Okay, let's do the same thing for the claps, snares, rims, and all that stuff. And sometimes doing it with the claps, rims, and snares is like pointless because they're not hitting at the same time, or, you know, like it just wouldn't be doing anything, so you're just wasting CPU power. But let's see if we are. Yeah, so you can see I am some of the sounds are hitting at the same time, so this isn't completely a waste of time. But I'm doing the same thing here. My ratio isn't all the way up. The only time my ratio is all the way up when I'm sidechaining is really only on the like the 808 or the bass or whatever, like the main bass sound is. I tend to have the ratio up a little bit higher for that, but everything else I like to be a lot more subtle with. Just because I don't like I don't want someone to hear a sound and then all of a sudden that sound isn't there. Like, to me, that can sound weird, so I like to be more subtle at times. Okay, let's do the melody. And then I don't really have an 808 in this, because like I said earlier, I had a really hard time making an 808 with my voice that sounded good. So I don't really have an 808 or like a bass line, quote unquote. Let's start arranging this. Split by channel. Delete it all. And bring it back. Okay, so these are all the sounds we have in the beat so far. Let's copy and paste. And let's start arranging it. So I'm going to take out basically everything in the beginning. So this is the kick. So I don't want the kick to come in until like the very end of because this is going to be the intro. It's going to be like a 16-bar intro basically. And I'll kind of introduce sounds as time goes on. So I want the kick to come in like at the very end. So let's maybe have it come in just like right there. And then we can layer in like the snare clap sound. So what is this one? Okay, so that's the... So let's start with this one and slowly bring this one in. In fact, I actually don't want either of these to come in right away. Let's have them come in about halfway through. And let's get rid of that entirely. And then let's have this one come in late as well. I basically want all the drums to come in at the very last, moment for the intro. And then obviously once the song actually drops, it'll be a little bit more, like more stuff is going to be happening. Let's have the hi-hats come in a little bit late. And then I guess this little vocal squeak thing I can just keep. All right, now let's fade in some of these. Which one do we want to start with? Maybe we can start with the bass. Fade this one in. We don't want to do that. So let's fade this one in like super late, so you're really not hearing it at full volume until a little bit later. And then this one, we can do the same thing, but maybe not as extreme. Maybe something like this. And then I want all of them to fade out for like my tag. So my tag is gonna be put in right here. So here's what the intro sounds like. Things are really just kind of fading in slowly, drums included. And then everything drops. There we go. Okay, so let's figure out if we want everything playing at all times. I don't think I do. Boom, boom, clap, boom. I might take out the like the squeak as well as maybe the bass for this. So that's the bass. Or maybe the squeak can come in late, something like this. Then maybe the squeak can like start in this section and then kind of fade out. And we can introduce the bass here, and then let's take out. Yeah, let's take out that for this section. So the only thing that's repeating is this like teal or cyan colored melody. And then do we want all the drum sounds playing at all times? Yes or no? I don't think we do. Because I want like an A section and then like a B section. That way it's, you know, like you could use one part as the hook and one part as a verse. Oops. Let me listen for a second. I'm not sure exactly what sound I want to take out yet. Adjusting myself in my seat. Let's see. I mean, I don't have that much going on, honestly. Maybe we start off without this little, this sound. It really just sounds like a shaker. So we take that out. Yeah, let's take it out for the whole first half of this. And then maybe for the second half we can take out some other part. So maybe we take out this. Just that way things aren't always just playing constantly and you have things kind of coming in and out. Oh, that was the other half of the snare clap sound. Maybe I don't want to take that out. Maybe we do take that out. Yeah, maybe that does sound good. I didn't like it at first because, like, well, I layered the sounds together for a reason. But it sounds good. And then we can reintroduce it here. And then maybe we take out this guy in the second half. Oh, no. What we're going to do here is we're going to take the crash, have it come in late, and then when it comes in, it's going to go crazy, like right before it hits normally. So it's going to come over here. By crazy, I mean like 2 extra hits, basically. Then we can do something similar with the other sounds as well. So maybe we take this out to start, and then it gets kind of crazy here. And let's see. Maybe that's it for that part. Okay, let's take out the main hat sound for the beginning. And then let's fade it out at the end. That way we have little moments of like, you know, little transition moments that are a little bit quieter. And for the same reason, I'm going to take out the kick at the very end of both phrases as well. So anything that happens after this like main snare clap sound, I'm going to take out at the end of these phrases. That way they're a little like, you know, quiet moments for these transitions. Like that. And we can actually accentuate that on this last part and bring this back even further. So the hat's cut out even sooner here. Yeah. And then we can fade the volume of this one out. Yeah, there we go. But the reason I faded the volume of this one out and not this one is because this one plays twice already. Like we're already hearing the end of it over here. So we don't necessarily have to hear it here. So yeah, I took that one out. By the way, if you're just joining, I made this entire beat from my voice. Like every single sound in this beat that you see here originally came from my voice. Like drums, melody, everything. So, okay, I think the arrangement is about where I want it, so I'm just going to duplicate this and then we can start like mastering it. So let's do that. Let's duplicate this and then we'll make a bridge. Right, that. And the bridge can just be everything, but with halftime on it. Because that's like a super easy, quick way to do a bridge. So we're going to have everything. Wait, why is all this moved over? Did I do that over here too? I did. What happened? Bro, I hate when stuff like this happens because like I won't notice it until later on when it's too late. Anyway. Okay, I think I have everything lined up now, right? No, because these are... Why are these hanging off the edge still? They haven't been moved. That's why. What did I do to these? To like push them off the grid like this? I don't understand. Well, anyway. Hopefully that doesn't mess up the flow. Now I'm going to have to zoom in on all these sections to make sure that... Yeah, like right here. It's off. Why is it off? What did I do? Like, I can tell that that's a little off too. So is that. Okay. Hopefully we fixed it. and start the mastering process, like I said. Let me find my tags, and then we'll do that. So, here's my first tag. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I like my tags to be like in time with the beat. More or less, it doesn't need to be perfect, but... So I usually stretch it so that it's in time. What's up, Brody? You good? Glad to see you. I'm currently working on a beat, and I've made every single sound in this beat using my voice. So literally, like, all the kicks, the hats, the melodies, everything came from my voice originally. At least on this one. I might move on to another one after this. And if I do, that one won't just be made from my voice, but this one is. But how are you doing? Is all good? Okay, let's add the second tag at the end, and then we'll start mastering this. Oh wait. First, I didn't even finish my bridge. What am I talking about? I'm so ADHD sometimes. Why are these off the grid now? Bro, what did I do? What did I do to this thing to make everything, like, just barely off? It's like, at some point I held shift and just moved my mouse wheel just a slight amount. It's so annoying. Doing glad I caught your live. This is awesome. There we go. So creative. I appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words. This is off too. What? It's like just barely. I swear I'm OCD sometimes, because like little stuff like this. I don't know if it's OCD. I just, like, in my brain I'm like, I know it's gonna sound weird if it's not, you know, the way that I had it to begin with. Anyway, okay, so let's move these down. Let's finish the bridge, and then I will duplicate the bridge over for the ending, and then we will master it. Okay, so for halftime, or I'm sorry, for the bridge and for the ending, I like to just use halftime and throw everything together with halftime on it. And then copy and paste it. So it'll sound something like this. So yeah, that's how most of my bridges are created. I just use all of my melodic pieces and then throw halftime on it. It's kind of lazy, but like, it sounds good, so you know, why not do it? Okay, let's finish the tags, and then, wait, why is this off now? What in the world is happening? Do I have... Oh, it's because this isn't lined up. I'm all over the place. So let's make this line up. Here we go. Okay, let's work on the tags. Are you working on any music, Brody? Currently? I know you were working on that one song, but you, I don't know if that was something you wanted me to work on for you or not. Hope everybody is doing well today. I don't even know what today is. Thursday, I think. Okay, so we've got both of our tags in. Let's put them together on my tag thing. Let's play it from the beginning. Here we go. Okay, so let's start mastering it. And in order to do that, I'm going to isolate one of the loudest parts of the beat, which is this part. And we're going to start the mastering process. Let me save it first, because Lord knows it's going to crash at some point if I don't. Okay, so let's take all of our sounds, so all of my melodies, and then all of my drums, and then all of my tags, put them all in one place. Then I've got my pre-master chain. So I kind of do mastering in 2 different chains and 2 different steps. I'm sure you can get away with doing all of it at once, you know, but I do it in 2 different steps for whatever reason. So here's my pre-master chain. It's a bunch of Maximus presets as well as some patcher presets, a wave shaper, and, you know, whatever. We'll go through it. Okay, so the first thing we've got is an EQ where I'm cutting the low lows and I'm cutting the high highs. I also like to boost, you know, some of the sub bass frequencies depending on the track. Let's hear it. Okay, I like the way that sounds. Let's go to our first instance of Maximus. So on the first instance of Maximus, I am only at about 50 hertz and below and 10K and above. But the process will be the same for like all of the Maximus instances. The difference will just be like where the bands are located, you know, and also, you know, how much I compress is kind of determined by, you know, which band I'm using. So on the low band, it's 50 hertz and below. So let's begin. So one difference between this 50 hertz and below band and every other band is I'm not going to level match on this band like I am everywhere else. And in fact, instead of level matching, I'm going to make sure that I get at least to this point here, which at the top left or top left or bottom right of the screen, you can see it says negative 8.7 decibels. So my goal is to get my low end, so my kick, my 808, whatever, at least this loud. So I'm going to push volume until I get up into this compressor. So I can get up into it about there. Okay, and then something else I'm going to do, and I'm not level matching, like I said, because I'm getting the balance where I want it right now, so I'm not going to level match. And something else I'm noticing is there's some like residual sound down here that I don't want coming through because it's not the kick or the 808, and this is only 50 hertz and below. So if I have a bunch of sound coming through that's 50 hertz and below, it's probably noise that I don't want. It's probably stuff that's going to muddy things up. So let's quiet that down. So I'm going to put a node as low as it will go on here, and then I'm going to bring this down so that anything below this red line gets quieter. And then I'm going to do the opposite with the louder stuff. So I'm going to boost this stuff up a little bit so that the kick itself gets, you know, a little bit more, well, it gets expanded. It gets a little bit louder. Go to the mids. The mids in this case are basically the entire beat. So the amount of compression I'm going to be doing here is going to be pretty minimal. So let's push a little bit more into this. And really what I'm looking for is like the stuff at the very top, the very loudest stuff. I want to like, let's see, okay. So this blue line is the post line, but ignore that. I'm just kind of using it as like a ceiling so we can look and see. The loudest stuff is up here where that blue line is. And then like the next loudest stuff is down here. So my goal when I'm doing this is to kind of reduce the distance between the loudest stuff and the next loudest stuff in each, you know, frequency range. So that's what I'm doing. I'm pushing some volume up into this so that the, you know, the loudest things are a little bit more level across the top. And I don't want to compress too much, but I do want to compress a little bit. Okay, so now I am going to level match. So I pushed up into this 1.3 decibels, so I need to pull back by 1.3. And the reason why is because if you don't level match, you are changing the balance of the song, which in this case I wanted to change the balance because my low end wasn't as loud as I wanted it to be. But now that I have the balance more or less where I want it, I want to make sure I'm level matching things so that the balance of my song doesn't change. Okay, let's go to the highs. And again, the highs are about 10K and above. So it's just the very, very, you know, highest frequency stuff that's coming through here. so I pushed up into this by 2.2. Let's pull back by 2.2. Oh, and something else I mentioned is my low frequencies I'm merging by 10%, and my high frequencies I'm separating by 10%. I'm doing that in small amounts as I go. So I'm not, and again, you could probably get away with doing a lot of this all at once. But this is another one of those things that I kind of do in small amounts as I go. So. Okay, so I pushed up into this by 2.2, so I pulled it back by 2.2. Let's go to the master. Now the other place I'm not going to level match is on the master, because I'm not changing the balance of the song on the master. I'm just changing the volume of the entire thing. So I'm not going to worry about level matching here. So I pushed up into this by 0.9 decibels. I'm going to leave it be. Like I said, I don't need a level match. Let's close this one out, and let's do it again. So I've got 2 more instances of Maximus here, and I'm going to be doing basically the exact same process. Just the difference will be, like I said, the band placement, as well as, like, well, the individual, like, little settings for attack, release, and all that stuff. So, give me 1 second. And I'll let the beat play first. Hopefully everybody is having a great day today. Sit back down. I'm sitting on the microphone. Okay, here we go. Alright, so let's do it again. So the second instance of Maximus, we're doing the same thing. Okay, basically the exact same process. The difference is where my bands are. So you'll notice that my low band, instead of being by 50 hertz, it's now up by 175. And instead of by the 10K, I brought the top band down by the 5K. But like I said, the process will be basically the same. So I'm really just pushing volume into this compressor until I'm getting a bit of compression, but not too much, because I don't want to, like, you know, crank anything, because that'll destroy the sound and the texture. Okay, so I pushed 2.2 decibels into this, so I'm going to pull back by 2.2. Let's go to the mids. Okay, so I pushed 0.6. Let's pull this back by 0.6. Let's go to the highs. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I'm okay with compressing the highs a little bit more than I am compressing everything else. And that's because I want my, like, hats to be dominating this higher range. And these little bits that are poking up and sticking out, those are not the hats. Well, some of them might be, but most of these are actually like my snare clap sound. And I don't want my snare clap sound to necessarily be like dominating that high range, so I'm okay with compressing this a bit more. Yeah, you can see I got a little bit of something that isn't the snare clap right there, so let's back it off a little bit. Okay, so I pushed 1.4 into this, so let's pull it back by 1.4. W beats, I appreciate it. And what's crazy is I made this entire beat from my voice. Everything. The kicks, the snares, the melody, everything. And this one, not most of my beats, but just this one. Okay, so 1.4, 1.4, let's go to the master. And I'm already compressing a little bit in the master, so I probably don't need to push too much, but let's push a little bit. Okay, so 0.6. Alright, let's go to the next instance of Maximus. And again, I'm doing the same exact thing. The only difference in this case will be how I set up the bands. So I'm going to isolate my mid band, and then I'm going to move this low band until I don't really hear the kick anymore, or the 808 or whatever my main sub sound is or bass sound is. And then I'll do the same thing for the high band, but for like the hi-hats. So I don't really want to hear the hi-hats when I'm moving this. So let's start with the low band. I don't want to hear the kick. At least I don't want it to be as prominent as like my main snare, whatever. And then let's move this in so we don't really hear the hats. And I already don't really hear it, so I don't need to move it too much more. But then the process will be almost the exact same. So let's keep going. Okay, so I pushed 0.8 into this, so let's pull it back by 0.8. Let's go to the mids. And because of the way we set up the mids, the most prominent thing in the mids here should be my main clap or main snare, which it is. Like the really loud parts here, that's my main clap, main snare. That's a secondary snare right there, but you get the idea. It's mostly the snares, claps, and that sort of thing. And I'm already compressing a little bit, so let's just push a little bit more. In fact, I'm going to go back to the mix and turn down that secondary snare sound because I know what it is. It is this. Well, I say I know what it is. Where are my sounds? There. Okay, so let's turn these down because that's that secondary snare that's getting loud like everything else. There we go. It's not quite as loud now. Yeah, there it is right there. So it's not jumping all the way up like it was before, which is what I want. Okay, now what I like to do is, well, let's level match first. So I pushed up 1.4, so I'm going to pull back by 1.4. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to accentuate that main clap or main snare sound. So I'm going to put a node below this, compression node. And then anything that's above this line, I want to accentuate and make a little bit louder. So I'm going to move this up so that really only my main clap snare sound is above this. And then we're going to expand it a little bit. Which you can see pushes up the volume of that loudest stuff just a little bit. Let's go to the highs. And as you can see, I'm okay with compressing the highs a lot here because the high range, I really want my hats to dominate, and currently they're not. The main snare clap sound is what's dominating this higher range. So I'm okay with compressing it more. Okay, we pushed up into this by 0.8. Let's pull it back by 0.8. Let's go to the master. Push a little bit of volume. And again, I'm not going to level match because I'm on the master, so I'm not changing the balance of the song at all. So that's my first 3 instances of Maximus. Let's go to the next couple of things in the chain. I've got some patcher presets. This one is for stereo separation, and I'm just taking the lows, and if you pull this knob down like that, it puts it in mono. whereas if you push it up, it puts it in the separated field. So I'm taking my low frequencies and I'm putting them in mono, and I'm taking my high frequencies and I'm putting them in the like separated field, so like pushing them out to the sides. And then you can kind of play with the middle knobs to taste. The next thing I have is a mid-side EQ. So I like to cut the sub-bass frequencies from my sides and also boost some of the bass a little bit. But really what I want to focus on is these like sub-bass frequencies. I don't want anything below 50 hertz coming in from the sides. And then on just the mids, I've got a Fruity limiter, which is doing two things. It's doing a little bit of limiting on the top, but not a whole lot. And then it's also adding a small amount of saturation to that loud stuff. So anything that gets loud enough will get up into that saturation. And in fact, I'm noticing that my main clap snare isn't getting loud enough in this mid signal. So I'm going to come back to the mix and find my two like sounds that are layered from my main snare clap sound. And this one is really separated. I'm going to reduce that by a bit, and then I'm going to make this more mono than it is. So let's see if that helps with our... Yeah, you can see it's getting louder in the mid signal now, which is what I want. I want my like main clap to be a little bit more prominent in the mono space than the the sides. I do want some information on the sides from it, just not the majority of it. Okay, and then I've got an EQ on here that's just cutting the low lows and the high highs. Okay, the next thing in the chain is a wave shaper, which I have set as a hard clipper. And I'm pushing 5 extra percentage volume up into this hard clipper. And on top of that, I'm taking the quieter signal and just giving them a small boost in like volume as well as distortion. If I turn this all the way up, that's obviously too much. But if you just give it a little bit of a boost, just a small amount, it can sometimes make things, bring up those quieter sounds. Just a little bit, just a small amount. And because I'm clipping off a lot of signal that's going above this flat line here, I can actually come to my Fruity limiter, which is after this, and I can push 0.3 decibels of volume into this, and I won't be limiting. So I got 0.3 decibels of extra volume here, and I'm not even like compressing the volume at all. I'm not limiting the volume at all. And that's the pre-master chain. So let's save it. And then I'm going to go to the master chain. So go to the master. And I've got a lot of the same like processes going on. So the first thing is an EQ, and I'm just cutting the low lows. Sometimes I'll adjust some frequencies here as well. Actually, I'm going to come back to here on the wave shaper, and I'm going to undo the quieter stuff that I did, because I think that's too much, because it's really affecting that like crash sound that I made. That I didn't really want it to, it was kind of distorting that a little bit too much, so that's why I took that off. Okay, so let's go to the compressors and limiters. So I've got two compressors here, and they do slightly different things, and sometimes they're both turned off, sometimes they're both turned on. It really depends. For this first one, I've got kind of normal settings. I've got a slower attack, faster release, 3-to-1 ratio, and then I'm bringing the threshold down about 10, pushing the gain up by just a couple of decibels. And like I said, sometimes I'm going to turn this one off. Sometimes this one is only like halfway turned on, sometimes it's all the way on. In this case, I don't know if I want it turned all the way on, so I'm going to mix it halfway on. I think that sounds better. And then this compressor is almost always turned completely off. In fact, sometimes it's all the way off, and the most it's ever mixed in is about 15%. That's the most. And the reason for that is because if you look at the settings, they're a bit ridiculous. Okay, so I've got 0 attack and a slow release with the same ratio. But the difference is I'm bringing the threshold down by 30 decibels and then pushing up the gain by about 20. So if this was mixed all the way on, this is going to get really loud, by the way. So if you're wearing headphones, this is your headphone warning. But if this compressor is mixed all the way on, it sounds like this. Which is obviously too much compression. Like, you can hear the sound like whooshing in and out. You hear like every time that kick or that clap come in and then they go away, it's like the sound is like being pulled in and pushed out. Like, it's like I don't know what the correct terminology is for it, but it's like you get like this pumping effect, like this whooshing effect. So that's obviously too much. But if you mix it back almost all the way, you can add just a little bit of extra, you know, volume to everything. This may be a case where I don't want this compressor at all, because like I said, I've got a lot of those like crashy sounds, those hat sounds that I don't want to add too much distortion to, and I don't want them to get too loud. So I may not have this one mixed on at all. I'm going to start with it at about 5%, and then later on, if I want things to get a little bit louder, I'll come back and mix it on more. But for now, I think I'm okay with that. So let's go to the next thing in our chain, which is a Maximus preset, just like before. And I'm going to be doing the same thing I just did on the pre-master chain 3 times. But I'm going to treat it like I did the third instance of Maximus, where I'm going to solo my mid band and then move the bands accordingly. So let's do that. So let's solo the mid band, and then we're gonna move these bands until we don't hear the kick, like the kick or the 808 or whatever anymore. And then I'm gonna move this one until I don't really hear the hats. Okay, and the purpose of this is to make it so that the most prominent thing in this range is that like main clap, main snare sound, whatever. But the process after that will be basically the same. And I'm already limiting a little bit here, so I don't need to push too much more. Okay, something I forgot to mention earlier is I'm actually limiting now, whereas before on all my Maximus instances, I was compressing. So this band was up by the 9, and then in the second one, the band was brought down by the 6, and then in the third one, it was brought down by the 3, which all that means is I was compressing more and more aggressively, because the further down this line is, the more aggressive you're compressing, and the further up it is. If you're all the way up here, you're not changing the signal at all. And if you bring it down, you're going to be compressing a little bit, compressing a little bit more, compressing a little bit more, and then once you go flat, you're limiting. So if we come back over here, you'll notice that all of my bands here are flat, so I'm limiting in all of these cases. Okay, so I'm pushing up into this by 0.4. Let's pull it back by 0.4. Let's go to the mids. Okay, so I pushed up by 0.6. Let's pull it back by 0.6. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I've already put a node here, and I want to expand anything that's louder than this. So I'm really wanting to like accentuate my main clap, like my main snare sound, just a little bit. So I'm going to put this here so that it's only affecting sounds that are above that orange line on the right there. And then I'm going to expand it just a little bit. So you can see it's bringing the volume up. For the highs. And again, I'm okay with compressing my highs more here because I'm compressing that snare clap and not really my hats quite as much. I am compressing my hats a little bit, so let's bring it back a little bit. Okay, so I pulled this back by 1.3, so let's push it up by 1.3. Oh my god, I can't. Bro, I hate this so much. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's go to the master. And again, I'm not going to worry about level matching on the master because I'm not changing the balance of the song. really all I'm doing is trying to make it so that like the loudest stuff is a little bit more level across the top. Okay, let's go to our next chain. I've got another thing for stereo separation. So as you can tell, I'm doing this in just small amounts as I go, because I'm doing this in Maximus, but I'm also doing it like with Patcher. So my lows are being brought in mono, my highs are being separated, and then I'm doing the opposite kind of in the middle. But again, you can play with the middle bands to taste. And then the last thing I'm going to do is push the volume as much as I can into a soft clipper without like destroying the sound, hopefully. So I'm going to use this limiter to kind of give me a litmus test for how much I think I can push before the sound gets destroyed. And then I'll push, and then I'll make a determination. Like I'll use the Ulean loudness meter to tell me if I think I can push more or less, or whatever the case is. And you can ignore the limiting that's happening here because I'm about to put this after the soft clipper. So the soft clipper is going to be doing what this limiter is currently doing. It's kind of hard to tell because I have, kind of leveled off the top a pretty decent amount, and I also don't have any like 808s here, which often helps tell me this, but it looks like I might be able to push it there. This is really a guess. I could be way off here. So I'm going to start by pushing 1.3 decibels of volume into this because it looks like that's about how far I could like shove these sounds down looking across the top here. So let's do that. Let's start with 1.3, and then we'll, like I said, we'll look at things and see if it's too loud, not loud enough, whatever the case is. I'm going to put this after the Patcher preset, and then I'm going to put this limiter after the soft clipper, like I said. So I said 1.3, so I'm going to come over here, push 1.3 decibels of volume, like extra 1.3 extra decibels of volume. Then it will go into the soft clipper, then it will go into the limiter, and we should see it here. Okay, let's save it, and then I'm going to open up the Ulean loudness meter, and if I am using this tool incorrectly, please let me know in the comments or in the chat if you're watching live, because I'm relatively new to using this. So yeah, if you notice I'm using it incorrectly, feel free to let me know. I'm going to play the majority of the beat now, and I'm going to let it play a little bit beforehand. But yeah, I'm going to be looking at a couple of things. I'm going to be looking at the integrated LUFS, the short-term LUFS, just to kind of tell me how loud things are overall as well as in the short term. And then I'm going to be looking at the true peak max to make sure I'm not going above 0. So again, if you notice I'm using this incorrectly in some kind of way, feel free to let me know. And if I ever go up to or above 0, I'm going to go back to the limiter and bring down the volume. Or in this case, I'm not actually as loud as I normally would be, or as loud as I want to be, so I'm actually going to go back and push the volume up a little bit more. But I'm going to let the whole first half of the beat play so I can make sure that I'm not getting too loud at any point. It looks like I'm not. Yeah, so I was a little bit quieter than I wanted to be, and then I never got up to 0, so I'm not going to reduce the volume. I am, however, going to turn this up a little bit, mix it up a little bit, and then crank the volume a little bit, and then I'm going to go back to the Maximus and push a little bit more volume into that soft clipper. So I pushed about 0.5 extra decibels there, as well as a little bit here. Let's check it again and see what it looks like. You can see I'm already getting a little bit louder. I'm getting quite a bit louder here. go back to that crash sound. Where is it? I think it's this one. Here, let me... It just sounded a little bit too sharp. Right, now we can let this run for a second, and then we'll see if we're loud enough, or if we're not loud enough, or whatever the case is. Check out my music. I'll cook up an album in a week. Yeah, I might do that. What kind of music do you make? Okay, so it seems like I'm still a little bit quieter than I want to be, so I'm going to push a little bit more. I'm going to actually turn this all the way on, like mix it all the way on, and then I'm going to push a little bit more volume here. So let's check it again. Yeah, what kind of album are you making? Well, I'm actually getting a little bit too loud now, so I'm gonna have to go back and reduce the volume. I'm also a little bit louder than I want to be, so I'm gonna turn this back a little bit. And then, let's see, we were up, what was it, 0.2 decibels? So I'm going to reduce the overall volume by 0.3 so that we're below that 0 decibel mark. So 0.3, and let's bring the ceiling down as well. Let's try it again. So this is about the loudness that I want to be at. If I had an 808 in here, it would automatically make everything a little bit louder. Which is part of the reason why I'm pushing the volume more now than I normally would, because I don't have an 808. Yeah, you can see we're not getting up to 0 anymore, and we're also about as loud as we want to be. So yeah, I think we'll call the this particular beat finished. I'm not going to export it yet, I'll do that later. But let's move on to a different beat, and I'll come back and export this one later. So I've got a couple of other beats we can finish here. A couple, like it's like all of these. This is the only one in this list that's been finished. Eat Out. All the rest of these are unfinished beats. I don't know if anybody else is the same way, but I'll stack up like 10 unfinished beats, and then at some point I'll sit down and try to finish as many of them as I can. But yeah, so that was my voice. So everything in this beat you were just hearing came from my voice. Like every single sound in here. The kicks, the hi-hats, the melody, everything. Let's pick one that's a little bit different. I want to pick one that's partially finished so that I can actually make some headway on it. This one's pretty good. Actually, I'll let whoever's watching decide. So, like, if you like this one and you want me to finish this one, it's called Slap It. So just type in, you know, finish Slap It in the comments, I guess. Here's the next one. It's called... I did not mean to do that. The next one's called Howling. It's a little bit more atmospheric, a little bit less dark than the other one. Let's see, there's Hum It, and I think in Hum It I also used my voice a little bit, maybe not as much, but yeah, so these are all vocals. This is a piano, and these are all vocals. It's called Hum It. So yeah, if you're in the chat and you hear one that you want me to finish, feel free to throw it in the chat. Otherwise, I'll just pick one at some point. So that's called Hum It. It's a little bit more like emotional, but also upbeat. I'll probably finish Slim's GarageBand on my own because it's stuff I was working on with some friends. There's Make It, which is just barely been worked on. I just used it for a video. It's just a melody. But yeah, that's called Make It. Let's see. Slap It, we already listened to. There's Forever Here. This is another one where I use my voice. Not as much, but just on this, you know. So this one's called Forever Here. If you want me to finish this one, just put that in the chat. I've got one called Chicken. For no reason. This one's just a melody so far. It doesn't have any drums. I could do that. I could just add drums to this one. But this one's called Chicken. And I think I had like either trap or drill in mind when I made this. So I'll probably do, like I said, either trap or drill. But this one's kind of atmospheric, a little bit dark. It's kind of cool sounding. Let's see, and then there's Nodding Off. And I think this is the last one of those. Oh, this one's hard. I might finish this one. Ooh, yeah, I like this. So yeah, if somebody in the chat in the next, couple of minutes puts the name of one of these that we just listened to in the chat, I'll go through and I'll finish that one. Otherwise, I'll probably finish this one, because I do like the sound of this one. It's a very simple, well, so far it's very simple. It's just a couple of hats. Oh, I used 3 different hats for this. I didn't even realize that. But it's 3 different hi-hats and then an 808, and that's all that's on it so far. I think I want to finish this one. So let's finish this one. Unless somebody wants me to finish one of those other ones we were just listening to. So this one doesn't use my voice at all. I do have a choir, however. Alright, so what can we add to this? I think we can add like a snare or a rim or something like that, a clap. I think I want a snare for this. Oh, these are all my snares that I use for boom bap. These are all cool textures. That may actually work for this. Just louder, obviously. And then maybe we can layer this sound with something else. Oh, that's a cool texture. Maybe I'll layer it with that. Although, I don't know if that's the right snare texture. Maybe this? I'm going to change that first one. Here, I'm going to get rid of this one. Let me find like a more trappy sounding snare like that. Appreciate the subscription. Thank you. I think I want this sound to be a bit more like prominent. Yeah, like that. So maybe we fade the volume of this one in. Ooh, I can do that up here. So let's make the attack kind of slow. But I think I want this to be darker. Yeah. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put all these on the mixer channel so that we can start processing the drums and stuff. Especially these. So this one is, let's take out some of this low end. And then some of that high end as well. And then there's a like very prominent tone here. And I don't really want it. There we go. Really want a lot of tonality here, but I do want some of this low end. Here, I don't want to take that much low end out. Okay, and then I'm going to make this one pretty merged, and then I will slightly separate this one. Okay, and then I want to make sure that these guys are getting as loud as I want them to, like together. So I'm going to put them on the same mixer channel, and then I've got something called my main snare and clap. I don't always use this, just sometimes. What's up, Red? How you doing? If y'all haven't checked out Red on YouTube, go check him out. He's super talented. Okay, so I'm really just taking out, I'm making sure that these two together are loud enough, and then making sure I don't have too much low end or high end in it. I could probably boost a little bit of this low mid sound. Now we can add some like counter snares, rims, whatever we want. I'm good, homie. How about you? I'm doing all right, man. Not too bad. I'm just working on some music. So, I mean, feel free to, I don't know if you're busy right now, if you're just hopping in for a second, but feel free to throw some suggestions if you know, like something that you hear or don't like something. All right, let's add like, ooh, no, let's add some open hats. That's what I want to add. Like a sound. So hats, let's go to open hat. Yeah, something like this. Ooh, yeah. I don't normally do open hats that frequent, but that sounds cool. Let's copy and paste. And then anything that's not a main hat or main snare, I'm gonna like pan it left to right. So if you're wearing headphones, you should hear it kind of bouncing back and forth. And I do that for a couple of reasons. The first is it's just more interesting to listen to things that are going left and right. But the second reason is because that, well, my logic is, and maybe I'm wrong, is that I'm pushing those frequencies out to the sides, so there's not as much in the middle taking up space, you know, that the kick or the 808 might want to take up later. Glad you caught the live. Hell yeah, so am I. Hella vibing to this. Hell yeah, dude. Appreciate the kind words. It's like on the more like dark and creepy vibe, you know, but it sounds cool. I like it. The 808 is hard. Oh, I don't need to add a kick, but I think I want to add a kick just to make sure that it's really like punching through. And then something else I do, just like how anything that's not a main hat, not only do I pan it left and right, but I separate it, which means you're going to hear it more on like the sides of your speakers or headphones or whatever, as opposed to like in the middle. Let's add the blessings crash, because I know I'm going to add that. I always do. This crash I have used in every single beat that I've made for the past 2 years. Sometimes I'll pitch it up and down, but I use the exact same crash almost every single time. I don't know if anybody has noticed, but it's the exact same one. Where did Did I not just put it on the mixer channel somewhere? Oh no, I didn't. Oh, that would explain. Yeah, I use the, like, I mean, you're only going to hear it at the very beginning of each phrase. So that's the exact same crash I use almost every single time. But yeah, you're only going to hear it if you're paying attention. And I also don't make it super loud. Like if I made it that loud, you know, like, here, let me make it. If I make it that loud, obviously that's too loud. I think it'd be easier to notice. But I don't like the crash being that noticeable. I just want it to be like that little extra something at the beginning. But yeah, all the other sounds I change for every single beat I make, basically. But I use the exact same crash almost every single time. Just because I like the way it sounds. I don't know. Dude, I wish I could freestyle. I can't at all. It takes me so long to come up with words and lyrics. Appreciate the kind of. Let's see, what else can I add? I could add like another open hat or crash, but I think the other one I already added is already pretty frequent, and I don't want the beat to be too busy. Sorry, it's like really warm in my room right now, so I'm like sweating for no reason. You're hella freestyling? Hell yeah, dude. Dude, just fucking like put it in the like send it to me, like record it and send it to me and I'll throw it in. Yeah. Fires in jello. I could pull up some lyrics that I have like saved on my phone, but I don't think it would be worth listening to. Let's add another. I know I said I didn't really want another one because the other one's happening often enough. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I think what I said earlier was correct. I think it's happening often enough. Let's try to add like a rim. Let's see, where are my rims? There. Just record vocals alone? Yeah, send it to me. I'll throw it in, assuming I'm still like live when you send it over. But yeah, I can throw it in. And also assuming you're okay with people hearing your vocals before I put processing on them. Some people don't like other people to hear that, so if you don't, I completely understand. Actually, that might be a cool idea for live streams. Like, cook up a beat and let whoever's listening freestyle to it and then send it to me real quick, and then I'll throw it in and see like whichever one is, you know, the best we keep, or maybe we keep a whole bunch of them. That might be a really cool idea. I don't know how many people are in the chat that actually like to rap and sing and that sort of thing, but if other people would enjoy doing that, I would be like, I think that would be a lot of fun. Okay, I think that's enough like separate sounds. Let me put this one on the mixer channel, and then I think I'll start like arranging and processing everything. Okay, so let's separate this and then put all of our hats together. Now, I'm not really doing anything, I'm just EQing out the low stuff and a little bit of the super high range stuff. Sometimes I'll use wave shapers and distortion, but in this case I don't think I need to. Let's turn down that blessings crash a little bit. Alright, I'm holding up. Okay, let's process the snares together. So I've got my main snares and then that rim I just added. So let's put those on the same channel. Snares and claps. And I am going to use a wave shaper. It's already in use, actually. I'm going to turn off the compressor for now. See, this is the side information coming in from that main clap. Or that main, ooh, I did not mean to do any of that. This is the side information for that main clap. So what I might do is reduce the information on the sides. So this one has the information on the sides and this one is more so in the middle. I'm going to reduce this a little bit because I want my main clapper, my main snare to be mostly in the mono space. I do want a little bit of it in the like separated field, but not quite as much. That rim I do want on the sides though, so that's good. Okay, and then on just my mids, I've got some saturation. I'm also going to push a little bit of volume. That's a thick clap snare sound. Oh, and I haven't added a kick yet, so let me do that. Kick isn't like always necessary, but it can, like, I don't know, add some punchiness. Let's try this one. And also always check the polarity if you're layering sounds, especially kicks and 808s, because with the polarity the way it was like half as loud, you know? So like this is the way that it sounds normally, like the way I had it. I mean, it sounds, you know, whatever. It sounds like there's a little bit of a kick there at the beginning. But if you flip the polarity of the kick, all of a sudden it's like twice as loud at the beginning. And that's because if you have the polarity of layered sounds wrong, it can, like, the sound waves can cancel each other out and make them quieter, which is weird. You would think that if you're layering more sounds on top of each other, it must get louder, right? Well, that's not always the case. If the polarities are lined up, if the polarities are wrong, or if the waveforms are lined up so that their waves are canceling each other out, you can actually make things quieter by layering more sounds on top of each other, which is interesting. About to freestyle, see if any of it is worth sending over. All right, sounds good, man. Just let me know. Like I said, I'll be happy to work with whatever you got. All right, so let's put this one on the mixer channel as well. And I'm going to put my kick preset on it. Where I've got a hard clipper and I'm pushing a little bit of volume into it, although in this case it doesn't really seem necessary because I'm already going above that. I don't always use Maximus. Although in this case I feel like Maximus might help us. Yeah, push that all up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Here, let me add a couple more kicks so that we can hear it. Let's just have it be simple and be like on the downbeats. So the 1, the 3, the 5, the 7. Push a little bit of volume into this. Okay, so before all of this processing for my kick, it sounded like this. I mean, that's pretty hard, right? But after everything, it's a little bit more like tight and tucked in. It's also not as loud. So before I was going above 0 decibels, now I'm not. Okay, I'm going to put my 808 preset on my 808. Take off Maximus for now. Maximus is one of those things that, unless I'm mastering, I don't use it all the time. But sometimes if I want something like like a drum sound to hit a little bit harder, Maximus can help you achieve that. But the problem is Maximus is also kind of complex. So unless you already know how to use it, it can be kind of overwhelming to look at. Alright, now I'm going to put all of my drums together and use some parallel compression to make them hit a little bit harder. So I'm putting all my drum sounds together. So my kick, my claps, snares, and rims, and all my hats, they're all going to this one place. And I'm doing some of the same processing that I've already done on some of the sounds individually. So I've got a hard clipper here, and I'm also boosting some of these quieter frequencies and kind of distorting them a little bit. I've got Maximus again, which I'm not using in this case, and I'm turning off the compressor, so I'm not using that. Okay, and then I'm going to use parallel compression, which means I'm going to send this entire drum bus to 2 different places, and then I'm going to over compress one of those places, and then mix them together. So let's send it to two different places. So I'm sending this to here and here. And then this one, I'm going to over compress the signal. And then this one's just going to be the send. All right, so the signal that's getting over compressed, I'm going to send to the second one. So I've got two different things coming to this one. I've got the original signal, which is normal, hasn't been changed. And then this one is also going there, but I'm only going to mix it back by 30%. So only 30% of this signal is coming through, and it's over compressed. So you can see the compressor is kind of ridiculous. Again, I've got 0 attack, slower release, and then the threshold is being brought way down. The ratio is 6:1, which is pretty high, and then the gain is being cranked up by 10 decibels. So it's way over compressing everything, and here's what that looks like on its own. So everything is very fat, very short, very thick. Okay, and if you look at the original signal, it's not like that. Everything is much more like tall, skinnier, stickier, whatever you want to call it. And so what I'm doing is I'm mixing these two signals, this original signal and this over compressed signal. I'm mixing them together over here, and this is what that looks like. It sounds like. And again, I'm only mixing this over compressed signal in by about 30%. So it's not all the way mixed in. Now I'm going to sidechain my kick to like everything. So let's move these over, and let's take our melodies, put them on one place, and not open up Edison. That's not what I want. Okay, put them all in one place. Like that. Alright, now we can start sidechaining. So I'm going to sidechain my kick to the melody, the 808, claps and snares, and the hi-hats. Okay, and some of these might be redundant, like it may not be necessary, but we'll find out as we go. So let's sidechain it to the hats first. And you'll notice I'm sidechaining to the hats pretty lightly. So my ratio is not all the way on. It's only at, well, in this case, 2 to 4 to 1. So let's bring it down. So you can see the purple is the volume that's being reduced. And so it's not like completely chopping out the volume. It's just kind of reducing it a little bit. So let's do the same thing for the claps and snares. So I think this is a case where this isn't doing anything because my claps and snares aren't hitting at the same time as any of my kicks. So this is not doing anything. So we don't actually have to do this. Okay, let's go to the 808. Now on the 808, I am going to compress it a little bit more aggressively. So you'll see my ratio is at 20 to 1 instead of like 2 to 1. And that's because I want to really duck this volume down here, like that. Okay, and let's do the same thing for the melody. And I'm going to do the same thing for the melody as I did for like the hi-hats and the claps, snares, and that sort of thing. I'm going to keep the ratio pretty low, like 2 to 1. That way we're just barely ducking the volume down when that kick comes in, but not a lot. So just that little purple bit is the stuff that's being reduced. So it's not a lot, and hopefully it's not noticeable, which is what I want in this case. Let me put a soft clipper on the master because it looks like I'm going above 0. I think I can start arranging this. So let's go to pattern, split by channel, delete all that, and then bring it in. I didn't even realize the name of that 808, but whatever. Who cares? Funny names make better sounds anyway. Okay, so let's start arranging. So I'm going to copy this voice. And then we're going to take out the drums for like the whole first half of the intro. And I'm going to take out the crash entirely. I'm going to take out these two hats. So it's just going to be this one hat that comes in. And we'll make anything that's not a main sound come in just at the very end. So just this like last quarter. Let's see. I've got two different sounds for my main clap snare. Here, let's bring the kicks and 808s in at the very, very end. So just like maybe here. And I might actually start one of these sounds early. So let me see what this one is. It's kind of cool. I want my melodies to be a little bit louder. Okay, and then let's fade some things in. So I don't think I want everything to start. So let's take the bells and fade them in. Let's do the same thing for the cello and fade it in here. Trying to record something over it right now. All right, sounds good. Do you want me to let it play, or like, or are you like good to just rap on it on your, like, however you're doing it? And then we can start like arranging this stuff. I think I can take out the cello for this maybe, or the bells. Maybe the bells go. Take out the bells, see how it sounds. Turn up the cello. There we go. So the way that I arrange, and I'm open to suggestions for this, but the way that I've been arranging as of recently is I'll have two different sections, and one that will kind of act as a hook, and then one that will act as a like a verse. And it really just depends on what the artist wants to do. And sometimes I'll have three sections, in which case I'll have like a, I guess, two verses and a hook, depending on how you want to think about it. But yeah, currently I've been mostly arranging with like just two main sections, and then they're like 16 bars long each, and I'll kind of take some drum sounds out here and there, and then I'll repeat it. So okay, let's see, like, some of these sounds aren't necessary right away, so let's take out the rim for the first half of this. And then let's take out the open hat for the second half. Okay, I'm going to take out the crash for this section at the very beginning. But then what I like to do is, if I take a sound out for just the beginning part, before it comes back in normally, I like to make it go a little bit crazier. So these are normally just hitting once at the 5 and at the 1 or the, the 9 or whatever it is. So I'm going to make, before this comes in and hits, I'm going to have it hit twice in a row, kind of, which doesn't happen any other time. So let's lower the velocity, and then let's pan it left to right. Couldn't even hear it. Very quiet. There we go. I had the velocity too low. Okay, so let's do the same thing for some of these sounds. So I think what I want to do is take out this main hat because it was playing like on its own at the beginning here. And then when it comes back in, I want it to kind of go crazy. So let's have it be out all the way until like this section. And then I want it to kind of go insane at the beginning here. So maybe something like this. Maybe we can repeat this idea. Yeah, something that's just really different. And then we can take out the open hat for that part and then have it come in. And then let's see, I think the rim's fine staying where it is. And then because I did the same thing, like taking out part of that main snare clap sound, I can do the same thing here and take out maybe this part just for that section so that we only hear this one. All right, sounds good, Rid. Are you emailing it to me, I'm assuming? Yo. Ooh, I love that low choir. Sounds so cool. Okay, let me fade things out that don't need to be there at the end of these. So anything that's after the main clap, snare clap, I like to take out at the end of each phrase, so that there's like these little moments of, like little transition moments. Like that. So you have just a moment of quiet after that main snare clap sound comes in. All right, let me know when you email it and I'll pop over to my email and download it. Okay, so I think we're good to copy and paste this now. Actually, let me make the bridge. So I'm going to be lazy again and use halftime. I say I'm being lazy. It sounds good, like most of the time. So, you know, if it sounds good, it sounds good. Who cares how, you know, how it was made? Okay, so let's copy and paste this. And then we'll throw halftime on some different things. So halftime. And then I don't want it happening all the time, just at the bridge. And then, well, I say that, we can have it kind of fade in and out a little bit. You just send it through? Okay, let me save this. Do-do-do. All right, where did you want this? Like at the beginning here? And I'm assuming you want it lined up like this.
Yeah, stayed in flames. burning rage, Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away, getting higher than sun rays, running like the Hunger Games, give me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes, red is living it up, yeah, in my own lane, I just want to live my life and I'm going my own way, yeah, doing whatever I say, telling mama just pray, keep it going, yo, my brother wants to see the light of days, hoping that he gets out, yo, we all living in this doubt.
This dude just recorded this. Like, he didn't have this in the pocket. He just recorded it.
Looking back now.
Started a little sooner? Okay.
In flames, burning.
Oh yeah, like that.
Yeah, spitting flames, burning rage, Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away, getting higher than sun rays, running like the Hunger Games, get me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes, red is living it up in my.
Oh yeah, we can start processing this right now, actually. So let's put our pre-vocal chain on it, and we're in E minor. So let's go to E minor.
Yeah, spitting flames, burning rage, Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away, getting higher than sun rays, running like the Hunger Games, get me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes, red is living it up, yeah, in my own lane, I just want to live my life and I'm going my own way, yeah, doing whatever I say, telling mama just pray, keep it going, yo, my brother wants to see the light of days.
Okay, I have a question for you, Red. When you record, how do you record in stereo? Like, do you have like a plugin that puts some of your signal in stereo like this?
Burning rage, Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away.
Because when I'm recording, like, I only have one microphone with one input. So when I record in mono, and then if I want it to have some stereo information, I have to like put, you know, spreader or some other plugin on it to do that. So how do you like record with information in stereo like this? And I agree, we should do this more often. This is really fun. I am going to reduce that a bit and put you a little bit more in mono.
Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away, getting higher than sun rays, running like the Hunger Games.
You just use the presets in BandLab? Okay, so I forgot what all of those presets were. It automatically does all that. Is that a bad thing? It's not a bad thing. The reason I'm asking is because when I record, if I'm recording with one microphone, like I have two options. I can either record just in one channel, so like you're only going to hear me in the right ear or the left ear, or I can record in mono, which means everything comes in at the same volume on both sides, which is typically, like, most vocals are mostly in mono. Like, you're going to have a little bit of signal in that's not mono, but most vocals are, like, mostly sitting in mono. It wasn't like me telling you it was wrong. It was just more of a, how the hell do you do that? Like, what are you doing? So I guess what plugins are on your BandLab preset? I know you showed me at one point, and it was like you had some compression, a de-esser, but I don't remember what else was on it. Like, what, or maybe it's that you're recording, well, I don't know, like, if I had a camera, I could show you my setup, and I literally just have an audio interface with a singular microphone hooked up into it, and then that's hooked into my computer. So my options for recording vocals are either mono or have it come through just one, like the left side or just the right side. Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, I was just mostly curious. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like, it's just interesting. I was more curious than anything else. I say that, like I said, you do like mostly want your vocals in mono, but having a little bit of the side signal come in is fine. But yeah, most of the signal you have now is mostly mono.
Like the Hunger Games, give me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes, red is living it up, yeah, in my own lane. I just want to live my life and I'm going my own way, yeah, doing whatever I say, telling mama just pray, keep it going, yo, my brother wants to see the light of days, hoping that he gets out, yo, we all living in this doubt, doing what I want, yo, stuck stuck in this crowd, yeah. See the red eyes looking back now.
Kind of lost your timing just a little bit at the end there, but it's really not too far off.
Yeah, spitting flames, burning rage, Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away, getting higher than sun rays, running like
especially considering you literally just spit this out 2 seconds ago. So I'd say that's pretty darn impressive.
I just want to live my life and I'm going my own way.
It's a lot better than I can
doing
do.
whatever I say.
Let me see your
But I want yo stuck in this crowd, yeah. See the red eyes looking back now.
There we go.
But I want yo stuck in this crowd. But I want yo stuck in this crowd, yeah. See the red eyes looking. But I want yo stuck in this crowd, yeah. But I want yo stuck.
Push that forward.
But I want yo stuck in this crowd, yeah. See the red eyes looking back now.
There we go. Well, like it was fine. It was just you just kind of, it sounded like you started thinking about something else, and so you weren't like focused on the timing. But like it wasn't far off.
In this crowd, yeah. See the red eyes looking back now.
Yeah, that's all it took. It literally took 2 seconds to fix, so it's really not a big deal at all.
Living in this doubt, doing what I want, yo stuck in this crowd, yeah. See the red eyes looking back now.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I probably did exactly what you just said. I probably stopped the beat as you were freestyling, so you didn't have anything. That actually makes a lot of sense. Because normally when you send me stuff, it's like perfectly on the grid, and I never have to change your timing, like ever. Like I'm sure I can find, one small exception every now and again, but like your timing is almost always spot on, so I don't ever have to do anything, which makes my job super easy because I don't have to do anything.
Flames, burning rage, Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away.
I want to add to this.
Higher than
I just don't know what I want to add.
Running like the Hunger Games, give me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes. Red is living it up, yeah, in my own lane. I just want to live my life and I'm going my own way, yeah. Doing whatever I say, telling mama just pray, keep it going. Yo, my brother wants to see the light.
Yeah, I can't even come up with something on the spot at all. Like I'm just sitting here. I'll be sitting here thinking forever, and I'll never come up with
stuck in this crowd, yeah. See the red eyes looking back now. Flames, burning rage, Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away, getting higher than sun rays, running like the Hunger Games. Give me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes. Red is living it up, yeah, in my own lane. I just want to live my life and I'm going my own way.
I mean, I'm down with you freestyling more. What I really want though is a hook. Like I really want, because this sounds like a verse. So if you could do like a little like 8-bar hook at the beginning, like right here before it drops, and then I could also throw that right here before this drops, and then we're only missing like a little bit of like a short verse here and a short verse there, and the entire song is done. So just sent 2 messages. All right, second. Let me check it out. Okay, so you have a compressor, a noise gate, a de-esser, and an EQ. So I still have no clue how you get stereo in your... It probably has to do with like how you have things set up with your interface, I would imagine. That, or there's like a setting in BandLab that like automatically puts some of it in stereo. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, while you're coming up with the hook or the next verse or whatever you're gonna do, I'm gonna finish processing the
flames, burning rage, Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away, getting higher than sun rays, running.
And then later on, I'll come back and clean up like the like the breaths and that sort of thing and all that stuff.
Flames, burning rage, Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away, getting higher than sun rays, running like the Hunger Games. Get me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes. Red is living it up, yeah, in my own lane. I just want to live my life and I'm going my own way.
Okay, let me add my tags. Bro, I saw somebody on Facebook. This is why I put that thing on Facebook like yesterday. I saw somebody that was like talking about how people don't like having producers' tags on their beats. But the problem is like they never gave a reason for why. It was just like, yeah, I don't want that on there. You know, for whatever the reason is, or they wouldn't give a reason. And it's like, why would you not want the producer to have their name on their work? You know, like, especially if it's something like this that's very innocuous. Like it's not super obnoxious. It just happens, you know, for a brief moment.
Spitting flames, burning rage. Spitting flames, burning rage. Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away. Getting higher than sun rays, running like the Hunger Games. Get me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes. Red is
I like the Hunger Games bar with the sun as well. You could probably do like why am I starving? Hang on, let me listen.
Spitting flames, burning rage. Hennessy shots to the brain, take it all away. Getting higher than sun rays, running like the Hunger Games. Get me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes. Red is living it up.
People are starving. No. I think you could play off the hunger thing, like the Hunger Games line. I think you could play more into that. Like, people are starving, or I'm starving. You know, like some starving line, I think would work really well.
Spitting flames, burning rage. Hennessy shots to the brain, take it
when I finish this, I can send it to you. That way you can just listen to it uninterrupted, like without me pausing it.
Get me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes. Red is living it up, yeah, in my own lane. I just want to live my life and I'm going my own way, yeah. Doing whatever I say, telling mama just pray, keep it going. Yo, my brother wants to see the light of days, hoping that he gets out. Yo, we all living in this doubt, doing what I want. Yo, stuck in this route, yeah. See the red eyes looking back now.
Ooh, I like how there's a pause here. Like, I feel like if we just left this until like halfway through here, like, so.
Stuck in this route, yeah. See the red eyes looking back now.
Just have this be, you know, silent, and then have someone come in now, like at this 41 mark. I think after this line, the red eyes line, I think it sounds
see
cool.
The red eyes looking back now.
With a little bit of, you know, quiet, and just letting the beat ride, and have someone come in right there. Alright, let me make sure my tags are good, and then I'll mix and master it, and then I'll export it, and I'll send it to Red. That way he has it to actually listen to. Or hell, I can just export it as it is now, and then I'll mix and master it as he's working on it. I'm just going to do an MP3, that way it's faster. Let me save it as pre-master. That way I know. Let's go to tracks. So this isn't mastered, but I'm going to send it to you anyway. That way you have it to, like, actually listen to. Exactly, that's weird. You want to loop the beat for like a minute or so? I can hit a hook. I'll record a hook once. Yeah, okay, I got you. Sorry, my phone cut off there for a second, so I didn't read any of your messages. Yeah, I'm just gonna export it like pre-mastered, so, and then I'll master it as you're like working on the hook. Is there a way I can hide my screen? Yeah, I'm gonna hide my screen for just a second. How do I do that? There we go. Okay, so you guys should be able to hear me but not see me. I'm going to go back to my email and email red. Probably should have done that before, but it's whatever. Okay, so the name of this beat is Nodding Off, because I was making it when I was nodding off to sleep. I'm so creative. Nodding off. So, like I said, this is the pre-master, and it's an MP3, so. But hopefully that will be enough. Let me know when you get it. That way I know I actually sent it to you.
Burning rays, Hennessy shots to the brain. Take it all away, getting higher than sun rays. Running like the Hunger Games. Give me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes. Red is living it up, yeah, in my own lane. I just want to live my life and I'm going my own way, yeah. Doing whatever I say, telling mama just pray. Keep it going, yo, my brother wants to see the light of days. Hoping that he gets out, yo, we all living in this doubt. Doing what I want, yo, stuck in this route, yeah. See the red eyes looking back now.
I'm gonna take a quick restroom break, but I'm gonna have my phone up. Still read chat.
Yeah, spitting flames, burning rage, Hennessy shots to the brain. Take it all away, getting higher than sun rays. Running like the Hunger Games. Give me a bow and arrow, shooting lanes. Red is living it up, yeah, in my own lane. I just want to live my life and I'm going my own way, yeah. Doing whatever I say, telling mama just pray. Keep it going, yo, my brother wants to see the light of days. Hoping that he gets out, yo, we all living in this doubt. Doing what I want, yo, stuck in this route, yeah. See the red eyes looking back now.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing you couldn't hear me, because I don't think everybody wants to hear me taking a piss. I don't know. Some people are weird. Maybe they want to hear that sort of thing, but I don't think I'm one of those people. Okay, so I'm gonna mute your vocals for now, so I can mix and master this as is. So I think this is the loudest part of the song. Oh, one thing I didn't do. Here, I'm going to take out the 808 for the beginning of this section and let it come in later. So it's going to hit a few times without it, and then the 808 is going to come in. So and then it comes back in. There we go. Okay, so now let's mix and master, or let's master. We're kind of mixing as we go, but now we're mastering.
Testing. Okay, so y'all might be able to hear me now. I'm not sure